Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of rate of change. This is standard A.3B in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 20 of the 2019 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have a graph here with a linear function being shown. Thankfully, they gave us 2 points already plotted out for us, and we're looking for the rate of change. Okay, so the rate of change should remind us of this term ratio, because all rates can be viewed as ratios. So a ratio here is going to be what we're looking for, because we've got this clue of rate also with respect to is kind of another way of saying per, and per also lets us know that we're looking for a ratio. So we're looking for the rate of change, the ratio of y per x, or y with respect to x. So y over x. And we're looking for the change. All right, so if we're looking for the change, I'm going to put this little triangle. It looks like a triangle. Is actually the Greek letter delta, which means the change. So the change in y over the change in x. Hopefully, you are thinking change in y over change in x. That's my slope. And if you're thinking that, you are correct. So how do we do this? Well, we need to take two different y coordinates, find the difference. That will give us the change in y. Two different x coordinates, find the difference. That will get us the change in x. So it doesn't really matter which one we do as x1 and which one we do as x2. So let's just use this first pair as x1 and y1. And let's use the second pair as x2 and y2. If you decide to do the opposite, you will get the exact same answer. This is going to have a negative slope. We can already tell you that because it is moving down when you're going from left to right. So if we don't get negative, we messed up somehow. So my y2 is 2, and then my y1 is negative, or is 3.6, so it's going to be like minus 3.6. My x2 is 5, minus, and then negative 3. All right, so those two are going to make a positive, so I'm going to have a negative on top, positive on the bottom. So there we go. That's working. So 1.6 over 8. Okay. So 1.6 divided by 8. That's really like, think of 16 divided by 8 is 2, right? So if 16 divided by 8 is 2, that's going to be 0.2, or 2/10. Now, I said it doesn't really matter which one you did. So what happens if I were to flip this? If I were to make this my x1 and my y1, my x2 and my y2. Like I said, it's not really going to matter. Your negative is going to end up on the bottom rather than the top, right? So you're going to end up with 3.6 minus 2. Then you're going to get negative 3 minus 5. And so now you get 1.6 over negative 8, right? So we've got a negative. I need to make that negative 0.2 for both answers here, negative 0.2. Now how do we graph this? Or how do we put this into the answer document? Because we're supposed to fill this in on the answer document. And what we have here in Algebra 1 is we have what we call a floating decimal. So you're going to get something that looks like this. Just 7 boxes. And you can put your answer wherever you need to. And so what we're going to do is we are just going to kind of put negative 0.2. You could move it over to the left if you really want to, right? So you need to make sure you grab that negative symbol. And then your 0, you get your decimal, and then your 2. And just make sure you bubble those in. And our answer is negative 2/10, or negative 0.2 is our answer.